a land so wide, feels like I'm meant to stride. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name. Purpose in this life's game. Horizons line so clear, God's love brings me near. Flat earth made by him, my journey long yet thin. Purpose found in every day, guided by his gentle sway. Mountains totally stand in place.
Yo, Fluffs, what's up? Good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. We are joined by PJ, Jeff, and Roger. How are you guys doing?
Oh, good, sir.
Oh,
Good.
all good.
Looking forward to it.
It's good to have you guys here. I really appreciate you for coming in. So, Dave McKeegan.
Dave McLegan, eh? So he proves flat earth again, does he?
Triangles?
No, triangles.
McKeegan,
Oh,
yeah.
triangles.
He's always proven out flat earth. Come on. He's a flat earther in the closet, really.
And he doesn't even know it.
He's a gatekeeper for the flat earth, you know.
Look, the one thing I have to give up for Dave, though, he's very persistent in trying to debunk Flat Earth.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a bit of he has a tendency to miss some very logical patterns with things when he talks about it. He likes to parrot the, how can I put it, consensus of stuff without actually understanding how he's doing that. Is just not really debunking anything other than showing he's parroting it. I mean, you can say gravity, and just because consensus is gravity, therefore real, that doesn't make it real. That's just consensus, and that's just saying he agrees with consensus.
Yeah.
But yeah, tonight is about surveying, and I think it was quite a good video, though, to be honest.
But it
And
shouldn't
he
surprise you.
Yeah, and he brought up a lot of information, which I'm happy he did. But it's his deduction of that information that has me a bit worried. Not worried for me, worried for him, because he doesn't understand what he's bringing is not for a globe. He's making our point, and the two people he's talking about in this video tonight is myself and Witsit.
Oh, no doubt.
Nice.
No doubt.
He's actually making Witsit and my point without him understanding how he's doing it.
I see.
Yeah. So it's
Sharpest tool in the shed, huh? Is what you're saying?
yeah, that one, sharpest tool in the shed. Exactly.
Wow.
Good to see everybody in the YouTube lands. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you.
I'm going to drop out. Sorry. I'm going to drop out and go back in. My keyboard's not working, so I'm probably going to have to plug in at the back. So I'll drop out and go back in.
No stress.
All right.
I'll wait for you quickly.
All right, no problem.
While you're doing that, I'm quickly getting the poll up. Yeah, guys, I just couldn't get my channel linked tonight for some reason. My backup channel.
Yeah,
So,
I've been having problems with YouTube too.
So I'll save it up and then just premiere it on that channel. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. Please hit the likes, share the show. You guys all rock. Planar surveying tells us the Earth is measured flat. Yes, 70%, no 30%, and not sure 0%. Quite interesting. We got Jeff in the house. PJ, what's up? Gold Goblin, hello. Good to see you. Miss Mod Queen Bee, always glad to have you in. She became a King Rooster again. Really appreciate the membership. You are awesome. Appreciate you all. Jeff Conkle again. Alan Ocean, what's up? Roger Ledball, good to see you too.
Good to see you.
Yeah, and then Roger Ledwell being a member for Alpha Wolf for 10 months. Wow. For those things we all forget. Really appreciate it. Jeff Conkle being a member for 17 months, King Rooster, and I forgot a lot. And Miss Mob Queen Bee being King Rooster for 10 months says, Roger, you rock. Really appreciate you all. And Janusz Kalowski, good to see you. Mojo Shop, what's up? and Jeff Gassett in the house. Yeah, so it's good to see you all. Really appreciate you. And Tinfoil just dropped in as well. We'll wait. Should we start before PJ? I don't know. He should get back soon. Well, he'll hop in. Okay, you guys ready?
All right. Yes, sir.
I did tag Dave McKeegan in, so if he does want to come discuss, he is more than welcome. And then, yeah, let's see what he says.
Hello everybody, hope you're doing
Hello.
well and thanks for joining us for another video. A few days back I was watching a debate between Fight the Flat Earth versus Flatzoid on Modern Day Debate, and the topic of surveying came up.
Planar surveying uses horizontals. Why is that? All horizontals are always parallel to one another to make their measurements.
Now I've previously done a video on the topic of surveying about 18 months ago. I'd had some surveyors that had been in touch with me already, confirming the Earth is a globe, saying they actually wish it was flat because it would make their jobs much easier. And then one surveyor reached out to me with some excerpts from this book called Surveying for Engineers about how surveying...
I can just guess who that surveyor was.
Maybe the main surveyor, maybe?
I was thinking that as well. Because he does seem to pop up everywhere. Because he is the anti-flat Earth surveyor, so...
Yeah. And Dave's not aging very well, is he? Dave? Just be honest.
He does seem to look like he's getting old very quickly. But I don't know what he's stressing about. Maybe he's got a lot of stress in his life. No idea. But he is probably stressing about Antarctica now.
For sure. I don't think they're going flats, man, to be honest. It don't seem like they got enough time or money.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what he's got on here. The effects of surveying for engineers, okay? The effects of curvature and refraction on leveling. At point A in figure 2.25, where a level has been set up, it can be seen that the level and horizontal lines through the instrument diverge. Also see figure 2.3. This is caused by level lines following the curvature of Earth, which is defined as mean sea level and is a possible source of error in leveling, since all the readings taken from A are observed along the horizontal line instead of the level line. The difference between the horizontal and level line is given by distance, C curvature in meters, D sighting distance in kilometers, as shown, blah, 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 effective curvature compass. Notice, guys, that they are separating horizontal and level here.
Yeah. Isn't that how they built the globe, though, to start with? Or
but remember, this is geodetics. So they're already taking geodetics here, which is making my point of they calculating perspective into they're calculating the curve into they're calculating the curve into their measurements
by using perspective, right?
Yeah. Carbon PJ was just in, but he just can't get back in. We're just waiting for PJ to come in, but yeah.
Well, isn't it known that the average is a level, right, between all the datum? That's what it is. This level. Yeah.
And the thing is, when it comes to when they do the surveying, especially planar surveying, they are measuring slope and incline angles.
Yeah, not curve.
No. The curve is calculated, and that's the whole point of this. There is no observed curve. It's all calculated. Their whole correction is based on their belief of a curving Earth. They have to assume this curving Earth to make those corrections. So they already have their radius value. They've already got their refraction. They've got everything is based on that assumption of a globe, which they then calculate into their measurements.
Yeah.
Is correct for Earth curvature. And so the video I did was basically relaying those points and addressing why...
Well, I just got to go back a few seconds, making my point again. Thank you, Dave.
And so the video I did was basically relaying those points.
Okay. What is this? The effect of atmospheric refraction. Is that a 7/6R refraction value, terrestrial refraction,
Yeah.
which requires the radius value of the Earth.
Yeah, and then it's made up anyways. You can make any radius value, couldn't you? For the most part.
Yeah, and I mean, you can read it here. It's assumed. So, the effect of atmospheric refraction on a line of sight is to bend it towards the Earth's surface, causing staff readings to be low. This is a variable effect depending on atmospheric conditions, but for ordinary work, refraction is assumed to have a value of 1/7. That is the curvature, but it is opposite sign. The combined curvature and refraction correction is thus curve plus radius equal blah, blah, blah. The combined correction for length of sight is 120 meters, amounts to 0.001 meters, and the effect of both is thus negligible when undertaking leveling. If sightings are less than 120 meters, as should always be the case if longer. So in other words, they are literally conceding the point there. They are taking a measurement and they are assuming that the Earth is curving. Therefore, they're taking calculations for that assumption. And those calculations, those corrections, are based on already assumed radius value, already an assumed model that is the WGS84, which is the ellipsoidal model that I was talking about. So it's a biased deduction.
It's not a physical measurement; it's an optical measurement.
Yes. When you're using a theodolite, you are optically measuring. So you're using a scope, and you're looking out into the distance over the measuring staff. And that's what
So
you're measuring, higher or lower.
you'll get more refraction with a theodolite due to its optics.
But you see, now they're taking that optical phenomena, which is actually just perspective, and they're making that now physical curve. They're calling that physical curve. Weird. Yeah.
Physically
Points
walked the
and
line
addressing
and measured it, it would be a flat line.
Mm-hmm.
Why would surveyors be correcting for curvature if it didn't exist?
Easy. Because of your belief system. Just like gravity, you believe gravity to be real, but you assume it to exist. Just like we read last night through with Eric van Linde, where Newton assumed gravity to be a thing. Einstein assumed gravity to be a thing. So you guys assume curve to be a thing. There is no curve. It's calculated based on an already biased R value. Your terrestrial refraction already has the radius value imprinted. Your curvature model already has the curvature radius value there. What's up, Janus?
Be honest.
How's it going?
Hello, guys. I just needed to switch off sound in YouTube because it's always double speak. I hate it.
Double speak. That was a good one.
You know what I mean? Not double speak, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's a good joke, though.
So you know
Lucky
anything?
one.
Do you know anything about surveying?
Me, not really, not a lot. But I just joined, so about surveying is, I assume they are using globe model as an assumption, and they base their all measurements on their assumption. So from the get-go, it's bad, it's wrong.
It's globe.
That's my understanding of the subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
exactly.
You
They
nailed it.
measure it flat, and then they calculate their globe with corrections to make
yeah,
it a
here you
globe.
go. Here you go. Yeah. So lucky me, I was on point.
You're lucky today, like McKeegan here.
Lucky fish.
Well, a few weeks after I'd published that video, there was a professor, James Fetzer, who went on and debated Austin Whitsitt, and he used that video of mine for his argument of the Earth being a globe, and Austin attempted to rebut it.
let's cover some of the basics here. So when we do engineering, we actually use plane survey. We never use geodetic surveying ever. In fact, we can't build bridges, railways, runways, buildings, or anything without assuming the Earth is flat. Now, all survey manuals will tell you that up to 100 square miles, 100 square miles, not 120 meters, 100.
Yep, 100 square miles.
Bloody keyboard.
What's up?
Where is the curve on this 100 square miles? Where is the
Well,
curve?
I read up it as 150 square miles there.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a long way.
the
But
keyboard
what
lock.
he's showing as 100 square miles.
Even if it's
so-
20 miles, they should be curved. Oh, the big one. 100 miles, even 120 or 50. It doesn't matter. It's just as numbers now. 20. It's really enough, to be honest. Whatever is more, it's just proving our point.
Can I explain what happened? Yeah, keyboard locked up. The keyboard locked up, so I dropped out to restart it to see if it would work. I restarted it. It wouldn't work, so it wouldn't let me put my PIN number into the computer to get started. So I couldn't do anything. So I had to unplug everything from the back, the computer, turn it off, restart it from afresh. But it started working. I was like, so it's weird because the computer lit up. No, because it's a gaming keyboard, so it lit up, but the keys weren't working. Nothing was working. Not even the mouse.
Well, I'm glad you got it working in and back
I
on.
was crapping myself. I was like, I ain't got a spare keyboard. I was like, if the keyboard's broken, I'm gonna have to go and run and try and buy one from Argos.
It'd been an hour or two, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Nah, it's just across the road actually, but I don't know if it's shut at this time. Maybe 8 o'clock, which is another 50 minutes away. Anyway, carry on. My crisis is over.
Fletch, you need a place like that across the street so you can get a cord for your camera and your microphone.
Oh, I see. Witsit gets it. Yeah, I forgot about him totally. I was.
Sometimes Witsit doesn't get it, no.
Yeah, I was following him a long time ago on one of my accounts, but when I was losing accounts, I just lost a lot of channels which I was assigned to. And okay, it's good to have it again. Thank you.
Yeah, Witsit is definitely upped his game. There's still a lot of things I don't agree with him.
Definitely. That's why I say Witsit doesn't always
But
get it.
like I said, I'm proud of him. I think he has upped his game a lot, and he is trying.
Definitely.
So I can give that up to Witsit. But yeah, there's still stuff I don't agree with him.
But mainly, he's pretty good. Yeah, of course, it's hard. We can hardly agree with anyone 100%. Even between us, I don't think so. We are agreeing on everything 100%. There are the small differences, of course, but the main thing, we are on the same page.
Yeah.
I think he did pretty good with the Tim-Pool thing. That was a decent debate.
Yeah. He did well there. Give up to Witsit to that.
100 square miles, you have to assume that the Earth is flat, completely neglect any notion of curvature.
Now, the video that I did, I didn't specifically address plane surveying versus geodetic surveying. I just highlighted that the book had mentioned that at shorter distances, correction amounts are negligible and so can be ignored. But
okay, let's go back. He keeps on going on. I want to. Okay. Look what it says. Okay. Now remember, this is why I also brought up. There's a difference between planar surveying and geodetic surveying.
Yeah.
Planar surveying is what's mostly used for construction and engineerings and things like that. If something is about 100 square miles or 150, it's 10 to 15 miles, okay? When you, for instance, build a mall, is that 10 miles long? No. Or a bridge.
Not really
you don't
sure.
build a bridge 10 miles long.
No.
So you
Unless it's
don't
bunch of
do
terrain.
geodetic surveying. You don't take curve corrections.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what I was trying to get into with FTFE when we were debating, when I was like, okay, so you're saying it's negligible, that we wouldn't need to measure it. But when we look through a telescope with observations usually about 10 miles away, which is the limit usually of the planar surveying, we see bottom obstruction as you place it. So how can we have curve for observations through a camera or a telescope, but with an auto level, you don't? Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
No, it
You
doesn't
wouldn't be
make
able to
sense, but you make
navigate with
sense.
the.
Sorry, that doesn't make sense, but you make sense. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be
Hey,
able to
Deuce.
navigate with a geodetic surveyor,
Yeah.
would you? Be? You get
No, I just want to
lost.
say, Deuce. Freemasons are tied in with the Flat Earth Society.
Hmm.
There's no doubt about that. But for the Flat Earth self, no, that's just reality.
The distances, correction amount.
But look what it says, okay? The difference between the horizontal line and a level line. First of all, there is no difference between the two because level is horizontal. But according to geodetic surveying again, because this is geodetic surveying manual he's reading, a book, the context is based on the WGS84 ellipsoidal model. So they have to make the level line curved. But reality, level doesn't curve. Level is flat. It's horizontal. We've been through this many times. So they have to separate a horizontal and a level because the horizontal is the measurement reference they take, and then they assume a curved level, which would be a slope or incline angle, based on that horizontal.
It
And this
almost
is
looks like
why,
a tangent, doesn't it?
yeah, and this is why you would get Globey saying, "Oh, locally horizontal." There is no such thing as local horizontal.
No.
Even in the geodetic surveying books, there's no such word as locally horizontal.
Literally, if it's a curve, it's a curve. Doesn't matter how big it is. It's still got a curve of some kind of degree, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Amounts are
Flats, hold on a
negligible
second.
and so can be ignored.
I got a question. I've seen the sphere they claim it is, right? It's horrible looking. It doesn't
Yeah.
look right to me. Have you ever seen the old geoids they used to map out? Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
nice
not very
nonsense.
pretty.
It's ugly.
It is
Yeah,
nonsense.
that's all.
But don't worry, he's going to get into a lot of details tonight, which is great. Because like I said, he's actually making my point as he goes along without him realizing he's making mine and Whitsett's point.
That's it. That's it.
But then that means that at longer distances, they can't. And both Austin and Flatzoid acknowledge there is a difference between plane and geodetic surveying.
Yes.
So what they do with geodetic surveying is they assume the Earth's a sphere, they take the plane survey data, they stitch it together over long distances, and then they apply an R value, okay, that they assume.
Because I'm going on what we can observe. You don't observe geodetic surveying. They use planar surveying measurements and then calculate the ellipsoidal model into it to get their desired result.
Although it's
Okay, I got a also pointer to it I didn't say to Craig then, which I tried to convey, but I don't think I conveyed it very well. You don't observe geodetic surveying because it's planar surveying done in sections that they linked up, just like Whitsett said. So they're taking all the sections of local measurements, okay, up to let's say 10 miles or whatever, and they're just linking them together. That's all they're doing. And then they take all those links and just lie them across a sphere. That's what they do. But was it measured over a sphere? No. It was measured flat and then calculated that all those linkages are curving over a sphere.
So,
Where they get most of that is like the topography is not exactly straight.
And that's why I brought the arc of the parallel up, because it's exactly that. It's just linkages of... Let's just say you got a link like this, okay? Then we're going to put another measurement, which is another link. You see, it pulls out the distance further. Now, these are two separate measurements, which are all flat measurements. Now, they're taking that measurement... I wish I had a ball with me. And they wrap it around a ball and say it's curved. But in the meantime, they measured flat measurements. They linked them together. That's all they do.
Well, celestial navigation, they don't even bother with that. They just go get an equal elevation angle and just go straight across.
Yeah, but you see with celestial navigation, it's not surveying though. Surveying and
No.
celestial navigation are two different things. The celestial navigation, you're measuring an angle over the horizon to the star. Okay, so it's an elevation angle. With surveying, you're measuring the actual angle, which is also elevation, based on the horizontal datum. So in other words, they got the horizontal, which is set. That's their datum. They measure anything above or lower than it. So it's an incline or a decline angle, a slope, based on that horizontal. And that horizontal is always carried through infinite. Now, the difference between the planar and the geodetic, the planar understands that there is no curve through it. The geodetic surveying takes those and says, okay, you know what, because we have an R value, let's go and correct these lines that are linked and just, tweak them to fit a sphere, the ellipsoidal model. That's all they do. So they don't measure a curve, they measure it flat and calculate a curve based on the assumption of a curve. It's as simple as that.
I got a question. Why is geodetic surveying even a thing?
Because
in my
people
mind?
believe it's a sphere.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it.
Huh.
Not really. But
No, not at all.
it's crazy, dude. It is.
Very much so.
And you know what's sad? Then they say, oh, but you see, the distances won't match if it's flat and matches. No, it's measured flat. That line that's measured like this is the same distance you have on your curve. That's a measured distance. Now, you're just linking all those measured distances of flat together. And now you're saying, but the distances don't work on a flat Earth. But you measured them flat.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much work for me. Just measure it flat and
Step
let's
out
go with
and
it.
eat my lunch.
Sorry?
I had to step out and heat up my lunch.
Now, what's for lunch, Jeff?
Guess.
Yes. Roast beef, mashed potatoes.
Burrito.
You're close. You're close.
Okay, I'm on the
Roadkill.
carnivore diet, so
I would say
steak.
roadkill.
Piece of nice ribeye steak.
Oh yeah.
No, it's a top sirloin steak this time.
Nice.
Ooh. Nice. You're making me hungry, man.
I'm having ham and turkey for lunch.
Remember,
here.
all I had was a tuna wrap.
And bacon wrapped scallops.
Oh, man, sounds good.
I think I'll do a carnivore diet when I get back from the beach. Go back on a diet.
While you're there, Flatzoid, make some sunset predictions for everybody. Get the
That's the
camera
thing. I'm taking my camera and I'm going to be doing observations. So
Nice.
let the globies cry some more.
Nice.
And I mean, Jeff saw the
And they will. And they will.
So, I mean, I showed him some of the photos. I've tested it out this weekend on my children, and it takes good photos.
Sure does.
Actually, very impressed with it.
Excellent. Glad.
Good quality.
That was a good investment, wasn't it?
Definitely.
That was cheap.
Well, I got it at a bargain.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's go on with Dave McKeegan.
It seems to me like they're trying to make it sound like plane surveyors are always the technique used up to 100 square miles, and then beyond that is when you then switch to geodetic, and that geodetic surveys are just plane surveys stuck together and then curve added based on the presumption the Earth is a globe.
No. Even geodetic surveying uses planar measurements.
Yeah.
Even geodetic survey uses planar measurements. They calculate with corrections for the WGS84 ellipsoidal model. So it's always measured flat, geodetic or planar. The only difference is in planar, they don't calculate their curve into it. Geo, they calculate it into it.
Aye.
Very simple. Guys, please hit the likes, share the show. Appreciate all of you, by the way. But I mean, what's going on? Why only 15 likes?
What?
Come on.
Come on. Smash
There's
the
more
show
likes
and
to
like the
have,
shares, guys. Smash the show and like the shares. Come on.
There we go. Okay.
Although, at least they acknowledge that geodetic surveys have curvature corrections applied to them.
They stitch it together over long distances, and then they apply an R value.
When you take geodetic surveying, they assume an ellipsoidal model, the Clarkin model, which is based on ellipsoid, so spherical. So they take spherical corrections, hence spherical axis, which doesn't exist.
Now, that acceptance alone causes a big problem for the idea of the Earth being flat.
Why?
How?
How does that cause problems for the Earth being flat?
Doesn't at all. That's it.
Only in his mind it does, dude. Only in his mind.
He wants it to. He wants it to.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what he says.
Which I'll cover in this video. But when you look into the topics further, you'll find there's actually more differences between plane and geodetic than just have we reached 100 square miles yet. This is one of the reasons why I love making these videos. People often ask me, why do I waste my time on this?
You don't waste your time on this.
Because you're paid for it.
Remember, I showed in my documentary, the reason he does this is because when he started doing flat earth content, that's when his channel rocketed. Exactly. He gets a lot more views with flat earth content than his camera stuff. I mean, his camera content got, 3,000 views, something? These, he gets 200, 300,000 views. I mean, some of his videos got 1 million views.
That's what I'm saying. That's what he loves. He loves the fact that flat earth gets some money. He doesn't. He'd rather talk about bloody globe, not flat earth. But
yeah, think about it. I mean, he's getting his money out of flat earth.
Of course.
Okay. I mean, he's got 135k subscribers, and they're all watching his content for flat earth, not the camera stuff.
No.
So yeah, why do you think he's going to do the camera stuff that he only got 3,000 views, where he's doing this? What you can see he enjoys, by the way, where he gets 800,000 views on a video or 300,000 views on a video. Come on.
And the reality is, I'm not. 18 months ago, I knew very little about surveying techniques, but doing this pushes me to research them and expand my knowledge. It's
okay. I've got to get a point to that. I know he's now advertising for his Squarespace or whatever, but I like what he just said, because doesn't the Globies always tell us, oh, you guys, where did you get your education? You know, you're getting it on the internet, on the YouTube or whatever. Well, where do you think Dave McKeegan's getting his information from?
Exactly.
The internet.
Exactly right.
He's not a college graduate.
Canadian bacon. Sounds nice.
Delicious.
Sounds delicious, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, Canadian bacon. The GS84 uses X, Y, and Z Cartesian coordinate system, which is based on flat grids.
Stitched together.
It's a flat grid that's got a third dimension. That's all. Okay, so we'll just forward this.
Why I've each step into one of them, and it's a class.
Thank you. Yeah. Well. What's wrong with my internet tonight?
Yeah, mine played up earlier. My middle light went orange. It should be green. Went orange a few times. But just
no matter what your
yeah, and guys, I got a 50 meg line, so it shouldn't do this. Just to let you know.
current level is, retry entitle you to geodetic off an annual subscription.
Brilliant.org.
So, plane and geodetic are both types of surveying. Surveying itself is described as the science of...
Okay, surveying is the science of measuring and determining the positions of points on land, in the air, or in water. Land surveying, this is what we usually talk about, is determining the boundaries, location, or form of a piece of land. Hydrographic surveying is positioning of oil rigs, mapping harbors, and charting bathymetry. Building surveying, we also talk about a lot, is assessing and mapping buildings and structures, because that goes under construction. Surveyors use a variety of techniques, including measuring distance. Note there, this isn't calculating distance, it's measuring distance, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Measuring angles. Do angles require straight lines?
From what I remember, yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Absolutely.
Leveling, which means horizontal, determining position, and using reference networks. That's the reference datums. Surveyors work in many different fields, including construction, property, and land. They use a variety of technologies such as drones, virtual reality, and big data. Surveyors also work with a range of people, including engineers, architects, and land developers. It's so nice. Surveying is essential for land development and is used to ensure order to physics world. Surveyors help to plan, design, map, and construct roads, cities, bridges, and utilities. They also help to create safer homes and communities and to regenerate deprived areas. Note that these things are all based on planar surveying, no curve. Godzilla37, thank you very much for your super chat. Really appreciate it, man. Appreciate all the support. He says, theodolites establish level. Yes, they do. Then measure elevations and depressions from that established level. Yes, they do. I know, I am a stickler, but that's an angle measuring device and not a flatness measuring one. Ooh. Yes, this is the difference that we try and explain to these guys. You can't measure flat, but you can measure distance over flat. Okay? So that means the Earth is measured flat. You don't measure curve.
No.
You calculate curve.
Any
That's why we
measurement.
say the Earth's measured flat because of the angles. You're measuring an angle based on a horizontal.
Any measurement done you is a flat Earth measurement. Simple as that.
Amen. You rock, Godzilla. Thank you very much, man. And PJ Cruikshank for his £5. Very, very appreciative. He says, Chan, support anti-fur suck the seats every day. Laughing globe.
Seats every day.
PJ, you rock. Really appreciate it, man. Yeah, guys, because we came up with a new word, which I call now the anti-flat earthers. I call them tits.
Tits, yeah, man. Oh.
Tits up, guys.
Wow.
So when you see an anti-flat earther, you just ask them, are you a tit? But yeah, I appreciate the super chats, guys. You guys are awesome. I just want to see something.
I miss Bev now. We're sitting here talking about surveying.
Bev did a lot in surveying, okay, but he fell off the rails when he decides not to just accept that he is actually just a flat earther.
Of course. He will just want to say it, will he? He's just...
Nope. Got a lot of pride, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so TIT stands for tenaciously ignoring truth seeking. Tenaciously ignoring truth seeking, sorry. So that's
we got a band over here called Tenacious D. Jack Black's in it. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah, Jack Black. Shame. He's really
gone
the
woke.
reason. Yeah, he's he sold his soul to the devil. You can say. Did you see his latest satanic Christmas thing?
No. Thank God.
Not very good.
Oh.
But anyway, the reason I chose tenacious as the first word is because it's to firm hold of something closely, to determine an unwaved manner. So they will keep, in other words, they will keep what they hold. They won't budge. I think we can understand that's what anti-flat earthers do. No matter what you present, they'll always stick to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see an anti-flat earther from now on, just say you're a tit. Okay, let's go.
Of measuring and positioning points on land, sea, and air to create maps, land records, plan for construction, etc.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a surveyor could decide they're going to survey a plot of land to determine its size to put on a map.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could run a tape measure around the edge of it, but maps are typically aerial views, and if the plot of land is...
And Dave McKeegan, I want to point out something too quickly. Wait, first another super chat from PJ. Thank you very much. He says, I know a few tits, Craig being one, McToon another, triangles for the try, etc., etc. Thank you,
PJ,
PJ.
we're glad you got your keyboard fixed, dude. We're
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah. You rock. Thank you very much, PJ. You are awesome. Really appreciate all the support, mate. Man.
Mhm.
But I want to ask a question, though, guys. What are we seeing on screen now? Does that look like a flat surface?
Does that look like a flat
silly
surface?
to me?
No, definitely not.
There's hills and valleys and divots.
Looks bumpily.
Incline. Yeah, exactly. Now, when they're
Terrain.
mapping this out, okay, and they're measuring distance with a theodolite or whatever, or drones or things, are they measuring curve? No. They're measuring incline and slope angles based on the horizontal.
Exactly.
So they're measuring the distance above an uneven surface. And that uneven surface is referenced to a horizontal.
It's the only way you can do it with any kind of accuracy.
Didn't they used to call that as the crow flies, basically? The distance between the 2 points?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But notice the measurement there is measured distance over horizontal. So to get that measurement, they required flat.
100%. Has to be.
Exactly. Now, the geodetic surveyors, if it's past 10 miles or 100 square miles, they link those flat measurements together and they calculate with consideration to a WGS84 ellipsoidal model. So their corrections is based on a already assumed R value and their terrestrial refraction, which is already have that R value placed into it. It's almost like a rigged game where you see people do betting on a fight and it's rigged. That's what geodetic surveying is. It's a rigged game. Thank you very much, Matthew Eastman, for your $2 super chat. He says gobble gobble flurfs. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You are awesome. I really appreciate it. You rock.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Matt.
Yeah, I was saying before the show, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving here in South Africa, so
No, we don't. Yeah, but I said happy Thanksgiving given to the Americans earlier on. I nearly forgot. I said it halfway through the stream.
Yeah, we celebrated
Americans, thank you.
it last month.
Right.
I keep on having to remember Canada and America is not the same place.
Me too. Sometimes.
Yeah, and it's because it's not Canada anymore; it's China.
China now, exactly.
Yeah, in Canada they have square heads, so that's how you can recognize it.
Situated on the side of a hill, then from an aerial view, it would actually appear smaller and take up less space on the map. So surveyors can take readings from multiple points and the exact angles and distances between those points mapped out accurately to show any undulation in the land. So they'd set up a tool called a theodolite, which can very accurately measure angles both side to side and vertically.
Angles. What's an angle?
Straight line
Measurement
from a point.
of degrees from a flat baseline.
Yeah. So two straight lines meeting at a vertex. Yeah. And these angles they're measuring, again, is over a what? A horizontal.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this guy can't see what he's saying.
Well, that's how you get his
Oh,
nickname.
no. Miss
Triangle.
Queen Bee. Thank you for your $5 super. It says channel support from someone stuck with a pair of tits.
Nice.
Weird.
What's
Thank
our
you very
tits?
much for the super chat.
Why tits?
Sorry?
What are tits? Tits
Oh, he just said it.
are designed for children, but adults play with them.
Yes. Well, we always say that you never grow up. You know what I mean? So,
No.
Oh, Godzilla 37. Another fighter so he says, Vicky, you stuck with Craig and McToon.
I knew that was coming from somewhere.
Look, we as a man, we are always children. Only the price of the toys is changing.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Yeah. Those tits cost a lot, right? That's what I was going to say next.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the super chats. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you. Oh, wow.
That was a good one.
Okay, let's go on.
If they were to set the scope up exactly 5 feet above the ground and level it, and then place a reference mark.
Okay, got a point there. Level it.
Yep.
So, in
the
other
same
words,
thing.
it's got a perfect vertical and it's perpendicular horizontal.
Yep. Can you have a
Correct.
perpendicular on a globe? Can you have one of
You
those?
can't. You can't have the same. You can't have the same verticals on a globe. But look what it's showing here.
A distance away from the theodolite that is also exactly 5 feet above the ground, and they point the theodolite scope at it. If the reference marker appears above the scope center line, then you know the land at the marker point is higher in elevation.
So concave then.
It go either way, right? Concave,
Yeah, so we can have a
convex.
concave, convex Earth. We can have a donut Earth, a donkey Earth. Because it's the land based on a what? A horizontal.
Flat Earth.
Vicky, thank you for £2 who says, no gourds, my tits have bigger brains. Oh, man. Thank you very much for the super chat. You are awesome. Oh, man. That's quite crazy.
Than the land at the theodolite. And surveyors can then very accurately measure the angle above level that the marker is to determine how much higher the elevation is.
He just debunked the level, the globe level, guys. Measure an angle above level.
With
So
an angle,
level
right?
doesn't curve anymore.
Nope.
Because remember, he told us they level the theodolite or auto level or whatever, total station, it doesn't matter what they're using. They level it first. So that means you get a tripod where it's leveled, you got a plumb bob, you got your spirit level on there. It makes it perfectly at a 90-degree angle. Okay? Now
You
they're
have to have a
using
90,
that,
right?
yeah, a 90. Now they're using that 90 as their reference as they're reading along their measurements. Now they measure that stick, that shaft, measuring staff, either higher or lower based on that 90-degree horizontal. Notice that that's a distance measurement of a horizontal. Slope and incline off of a horizontal datum.
Hence, not curved.
Yeah.
And when they hold that measuring staff, they have to also hold it vertically up. Otherwise, it'll be an inaccurate reading. So
if you're
not
a stick man, you gotta be
diverging.
straight.
Yeah, so not diverging, parallel with each other. So in other words, perpendiculars.
100%.
See what I'm saying? This is the thing I say about Dave McKeegan and company. They don't really understand what they're trying to debunk. The more they're trying, the more they're making our point.
Because they then know the distance away that the marker is from the theodolite. Plane versus geodetic simply describes how the surveyor is treating the Earth between their measurement points.
Mm-hmm.
Plane surveying presumes that the Earth between the points is a flat plane, whilst
Yeah, okay. So plane surveying presumes that the points between them are flat. Brilliant. So when you're taking a measurement, which is planar, because even your theodolites are, I think they limited to an accuracy anyway of maximum accuracy of 200 meters or something that I read. But even in your geodetic surveying, you only measure, like I said, planar. You link those planars up and claim they're diverging away. You're claiming that, not measuring them diverging. You're claiming that by calculating, doing corrections. And this is what I told FTFE when he showed that paragraph of his, where it literally showed the corrections for this, where it showed the correction for the radius value.
They all have the same level too, right? When they level each theodolite out, they all go to the same level.
Exactly, it's plumb. They're all plumb. They set them up plumb every single time. Thank you, PJ Cruikshank, for another £5 It says, if she was stuck with those two, Gord, I think she'd do a self mastectomy.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh no.
Well,
Wow.
if you had McToon and Craig is attached to your body, that's cancerous. I mean, you got to do a self-mastectomy.
Can you imagine the offspring? That's what I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little baby Craig.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Please,
So you guys are giving us nightmare messages now. I should have never brought that up.
Geodetic surveying presumes that the Earth is curving, and so they add corrections in to account for that curvature.
Do you see what you just said? Let's just rewind it quickly just to make sure. Okay, listen what it says.
Surveying presumes that the Earth between the points is a flat plane, whilst geodetic surveying presumes that the Earth is curving, and so they add corrections in to account for that curvature.
So they assume this curve, so they add corrections in to account for that curvature that's not measured. Do you see the issue here?
Yes, I do.
Do you see the issue? Why would you need to add corrections for something if you measured it?
Because you're lying about it, I guess. I don't know why you would do it. No idea. It makes
Because if they didn't account for it, there would be no curve.
It'd be flat. Yeah. Odd.
That's all we actually need to say tonight. The only reason they account for it is because they assume it to be there. They assume the curve, they calculate it into existence. After measuring it flat.
Now,
and I can just hear Sean Hawkins swearing his ass off now while we're saying this. Because he is streaming us again.
Oh, is he? Sorry.
Really?
Dude, it's just a joke, you know what I mean? It's just a joke. It's nothing serious, you know what I mean? It's just it's just me messing about. Because we was talking about, I mean, you know, tits, it's me messing about. So if there's any backlash, it's my bad fact. Blame me. I mean, blame me completely.
No, man, there's no backlash. I was just joking, man.
Can I say Happy Thanksgiving to Sean right quick? Happy Thanksgiving, Sean. Get some food, dude. Put away the weed.
Well, maybe he can print himself a turkey.
It's nothing they wouldn't say about us flats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe Sean can print himself a turkey to eat. I don't know. Or one of your subscribers, Sean. Shout out to Sean. One of your subscribers for Thanksgiving. Buy him a turkey. How's that? Give him a PayPal for a turkey.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
as we've already seen, both Austin and Flatzoid acknowledge that over long distances, geodetic is used and that curvature corrections are included. Their figures do differ slightly from each other. Austin says 100 square miles is the limit. Flatzoid says 150 square miles.
All survey manuals will tell you that, up to 100 square miles.
To get their desired result, and it's over 150 square miles. So,
from what I've seen, the figures seem to suggest 100 square miles or 260 square kilometers is the limit for plane surveying.
And I'd accept if I was wrong there, but I remember reading 150. But 100 is also fine. I got no issue with that because that's 10 miles.
Now, it's worth clarifying here, just to be clear. 100 square miles is not a square 100 miles long by 100 miles wide.
No.
Square miles is a unit of area, so it's an area of 100 square miles, which would be a square 10 miles by 10 miles. Any surveys larger than that will be geodetic, which means they then have curvature corrections applied to them that both Austin and Flatzoid have acknowledged. And this is where the problem arises for Flat Earth. Austin claimed all they do for geodetic surveys is take a series of plane surveys, stitch them together, and then apply a presumed curvature value based on a globe.
Yes.
They take the plane survey data, they stitch it together over long distances, and then they apply an R value, okay, that they assume.
And Flatzoid seems to basically argue the same point, that surveys
not basically argue the same point. It's the same thing because that's exactly how it works. So we're not arguing this, basically arguing the same thing. That's literally how it is. That's why when you got Craig, when he brought up the transcontinental triangulation, that was my point with the baselines being linked together because it's plane surveying. Even geodetic surveying is actually just plane surveying with corrections based on your assumption of an ellipsoidal model. It's not hard to understand. You're linking horizontals together to make a curve. So the distances...
Like Beckham.
Yeah, so the distances are physically measured flat. Okay? They physically measured a distance over a flat horizontal. And they're just linking those together to get their distance. Now they take that distance and they make it arced. Now they say, oh, but look at that distance. Therefore, it can't work on a flat surface. You measured the flat distance. You're just placing it over an arc now. A string. Let's say this. Like this. Let's say this is a piece of string, okay? 15 centimeters. 15 centimeters like this, or 15 centimeters of a ball will still be 15 centimeters. Stays 15 centimeters. The only difference is point A to point B will be different because you either have a sphere or you have a flat plane. But the difference is it's measured over a flat plane, not measured over a curve.
are done plain and that geodetics are then just formed by them wrapping them onto a globe model.
They use planar surveying measurements and then calculate their ellipsoidal model into it to get their desired result, and it's over 150 square miles. So
now that idea would work fine for a series of plane surveys in one dimension. If we were to say this little piece of paper is an individual plane survey, we could stick a series of these together in a long line and easily wrap it around the surface.
You just made my point.
Yep. Exactly.
You just made my point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Wow. Godzilla 37 with another $10. Thank you very much. He says, if we were on a spinning wet spheroid made of rock, hurtling through space in multiple vectors, multiple vectors, guys, at mind-blowing speeds, and that's different speeds, while proof would be easily attainable, yet here we are, 10 years later, still waiting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
still waiting.
We got the confetti. Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah,
oh, nice.
Thank you very much for the super chat, Godzilla. And Roger Ledwell for his $2 says, I need a new pair of tits. Those are stacking. No, man. Thank you very much. You guys rock. Oh, man. But yeah, Godzilla, that's so true. Because if you have spinning reference of 4 different vectors in 4 different speeds, you will pick up those forces, those fictitious forces in those different vectors, but we don't pick them up. There is no observable reality of this. Thank you very much for the super chats. You guys are awesome. I didn't actually put a goal, so you guys have to decide what the goal must be. And yes, I am planning to do that debating myself.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah. They'll probably be working on the video this weekend so I can premiere it when I'm on holiday.
Nice.
Looking for that. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be debating Kent Reynolds.
Oh.
So that's going to be quite good. Kent Reynolds versus Keith Reynolds.
Dude, yeah, the one at Soulspoke.
I know we're not related, just to let you know.
The guy at Soulspoke too.
Yeah, the guy that's
I think it's the same guy.
Cool. What's
so
that?
debating. Yeah, we're debating tomorrow night. That's going to be quite exciting.
Where are you debating at? Yeah.
Yeah, on here.
Yes, cool. So so it's just you and him in
just be us two,
debating, then we'll be cool. Are you doing an after
And
show?
we'll see maybe an after show if it ends whenever and whatever.
Excellent, nice.
But it should be good because he looked very respectful with Sov, and I think we can have that same kind of
definitely, dude. I don't
respectful
think you'll have any
discussion.
problems. I don't think you'll have any problems with him.
No, I don't think so.
Decent guy.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Sean
We got-
Hawkins and other anti-flat earthers can learn how to actually have a discussion then.
Absolutely. I mean, it's on my channel. It's on Sov's channel. You know what I mean? Well, mainly Sov's channel. I just covered it. You know what I mean? Go watch it on Sov's, man, Sean. So I mean, then you'll see exactly what somebody who believes in the globe but is not an anti-flat earther can actually be like. They can have a decent conversation.
What is it?
You know what, Godzilla? I think you know what we'll do. You still got your kilt.
Oh, me? No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you
family.
go.
No,
Oh man, he could have put his kilt on and would have had him on a table and the bagpipes.
Yeah, man. Let me
I was
let me
thinking-
go. Let me go to the gym first, then I'll do a full body.
Middle below balls.
Again, guys, please hit the likes, share the show. Appreciate you all. We only got 22 likes. What's going on?
What on earth?
Something's
Strange.
going on because it's going up and down the whole time. I see it like goes up and then it goes down, goes up and goes down.
I see confetti, Flats. I got to see it. That was nice. Yeah, still going.
Okay, so let's watch Dave McKeegan on, make our point further.
Surface of a sphere. However, if we were to take plane surveys stuck together along two axes, so we create a large square survey, when we try and wrap that around the sphere, it creates distortions. So the distances between various points on the survey would then change.
No, that's totally nonsense. Why didn't you do those squares as well in all the axes? And like we said, it's 100 square miles.
I
Well,
see a
in my
problem,
case, I said
Flash.
150. Yeah, but that's the saying. He's taken one piece of square now. Okay,
Right.
they're not individual squares.
No,
Okay, so that's
No.
why it does that.
of course. I mean, it's got just crumple up around the ball, and you're not going to get any type of consistency with something like that. It's just,
No.
it's just.
Why?
That's
Why?
the-
Yeah, but why is he ignoring that those are all supposed to be separate squares then?
Mm.
And like we said, nobody measures that large section. You measure a block at a time.
Mhm.
Okay, 10 miles max. So put all
The
those
problem
10
is-
miles together, you get what he just showed.
The first problem is that they're wrapping it around the sphere. That's the first problem.
But that's
There's no
the
need
issue
for
they're
that.
trying to do.
This is stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Why do it?
And also the issue is, if we were saying, let's say it's that huge piece of paper he's blocking, we're saying it's measured flat. Why is he wrapping it around a ball?
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's special. Yeah.
It's very special.
Here's the work.
It's why there are so many different map projections, because you can't change the shape of something without distorting distances.
And that's why maps are not visually correct, but their distances are correct. Because distances are measured, shapes are not. Very, very simple stuff. That's why I was telling Sean Hawkins, who said, present your map and model. Yeah, my map is the Hebrew cosmology, my model, and my map is every map in existence.
Yeah.
Because all the distances comport with measurements of reality. There we go. So it doesn't matter which map you present, the distance is shown to comport with what's measured in reality. It doesn't make
So
it a
any-
sphere, a triangle. What it does do is it shows it's measured flat.
Absolutely.
And-
Alan says,
The issue,
Professor Havre says that this chat needs a professor. I don't know. Do you know when Professor Havre started?
Hey, you want to come
Professor
in?
Harvest is a
You can
professor,
join
so he's
Exactly. I was waiting for him to say that. Hey, Prof.
So if they didn't try to wrap this thing around a ball, we would not be here talking about this crap right now.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be an issue. We'd be out measuring land, exploring lands, doing things daily instead of sitting arguing about whether it's wrapped around a ball or a triangle or any shape at all. We were just out looking at the land, right?
Mm-hmm. But you see all these blocks, the coordinate systems, okay? You see how they take those blocks and they lay them to each other on a map because it's a grid system. Those grid systems, look how different they look, okay? All those grids. But they all have the same distances allocated.
Yeah.
Why? Because the measurement is true. The distance is true. The layout is not.
No.
You just, at the end of the day, you're just following a grid system that was measured over a flat horizontal plane. That's it.
No.
Amen.
It's just a representation, isn't it?
That's a representation.
Is across at least part of its surface.
Uber Eats.
Hey, Johannesburg.
Johannesburg.
I've never been there.
Over.
It's just easier just to call it Joburg.
Joburg.
Yeah.
Joburg, because I laugh every time I hear, like on the movies where you get American actors like, Johannesburg.
Johannesburg.
Johannesburg. Johannesburg. It's like, yeah. The pronunciation is like, ah.
Are you from Scotland?
How is it actually pronounced?
Johannesburg.
How do you actually? Yeah, Johannesburg.
Johannesburg.
Same as
Johannes, or in English, it would be Johannesburg.
How would Giannis say it? Johannesburg. Come on.
Yeah.
Giannis should be able
Johannesburg.
to.
Giannis. How it almost sounds the same to me.
Okay, good.
Giannis, Johannesburg. Yeah.
To be honest, my pronunciation is so freaking bad. I heard myself. I was like, "Ah, Jesus, how I can speak so badly?" I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't listen to myself. I just,
yeah. I think you sound all right, dude. I understand.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sometimes a bit fast. Sometimes you're quite fast, but I understand you. Absolutely.
always tell me to slow down. When I speak fast, you have to learn to listen faster.
Yeah.
I know this is a joke. We paused it on where it looks like he's making the 666 sign.
Oh, nice.
Make a meme.
But
Evil McKeegan.
Usually, speak like a demon.
Usually, the new people who are newly awakened, starting to seeing those things, they're seeing everywhere. Oh, look, he's making sign. No, look, sometimes even myself, I caught myself, doing this sign when I was doing something, So it's not like I'm doing it on purpose,
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. You can take this out of context now. Take this as a freeze frame and say, "Oh, look, he's making a 666 sign," but it's not. It's just how he's talking with his hand.
Of course, there are people who are posing, with those symbols, and you can clearly see it. But it just happens, to me as well. Even if I'm well aware of this stuff, it happens to me still. Not very often, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like Russian vids for a minute there. Everybody makes sense.
Yeah, I like his Russian video. Yeah, he's pretty okay, pretty on point. Usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been on the stream before, hasn't he?
Russian vids. Shout out to Russian vids. I think he's awesome.
He's cool, man.
He has a way of finding hidden symbolism.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, he's digging very deep into it.
What's on Dave McKeegan's shirt, though? I want to know what is
that's
that?
a clock.
That's
it's like a watch with with what's the name? Time.
Flat Earth.
Yeah, because he's saying it's like ending. It's like, ooh. That's a shame.
Really?
I just wish still he would. The thing that irritates me. Sorry, Dave, but this irritates. It might be a bit of OCD, but the damn dog hair on your black shirt every time. It irritates the hell out of me.
I'm glad I'm not going with him if he's going.
I think it's a hidden symbolism, His time as a global is ending.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
Okay.
The errors are very small. Over longer distances, the errors get bigger and bigger. So you can get away with treating the Earth as a different shape over a short distance, but not over larger areas. So if the Earth is a globe, obviously treating
Sorry, I
it
need to
as a
interrupt.
globe from the outset is the most accurate way of doing
I
things,
need to interrupt
but
now.
treating it as a
Do you
flat
see
plane
the
works over
symbolism
short
behind
distance.
his back? The globe Earth and mark of the
EQ
YouTube.
mount.
Yeah,
He's got
because
EQ
for
mount,
now,
blah, blah, blah.
because he has so many followers, he must be right. And the globe, that's how it's presented, and it's programming people.
It's subliminal messaging.
Exactly. But people don't see this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Distances and saves time by not requiring corrections to be applied, but then it becomes more and more inaccurate. Whereas if the Earth is flat, treating it as a flat plane is the most accurate way of surveying it, but treating it then as a globe would become more and more inaccurate over distance.
Okay.
So that means
This is him once again showing he doesn't really understand how the process is. You measuring a set distance. That set distance stays that set distance. You're just linking those set distances together. You're not measuring from point A to point 100 at once. You're measuring them in sections and linking them together. So they'll always have the same average of correction. Get it? He's now trying to make it as if this point A and point B, because globe, will be now longer. No, they don't measure it longer. They still just measure it in the same distance. They just link those distances together. They don't do it in one long stretch.
Easy to say. Let's say 100 kilometers. They measure 10 kilometers and 10 times. They add them together. That's how it is. 10 by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
given that they both acknowledge that
Sorry?
I was just going to say, someone reminded me earlier, Eric Debate put a video earlier about 6 hours ago. It's only 7 minutes long about
Oh, yeah, I
deleting
saw the
messaging.
thumbnail, yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. I've just saved it to watch later, but the link's in there if anybody wants to look at it.
Yeah, I've just seen the thumbnail. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I've seen it already. I already uploaded it on my channel.
Nice.
geodetic surveys have curvature corrections applied to them, then if the Earth is flat, they must also then think every geodetic survey is wrong, and that they become more and more inaccurate the larger the survey is. Now, I'd also like to bring up another...
Again, like I was saying, that's totally wrong.
Why
It's
they
just
always say what we think from their perspective? We don't think this way.
Yeah. It's a
just
total
ridiculous.
misrepresentation. I mean, we've made it very clear. It's just linked horizontals.
Oh, yeah. And this
And
one
it's the same distance, is what you're saying, Flats, right? It's
They're all the
no
same
matter
distances.
Yeah.
Just because they geodetic surveying now, let's say the transcontinental, 4,000 kilometers. They didn't measure 4,000 kilometers in one go. They measured sections and placed them together. Now he's trying to say, well, you see, 4,000 kilometers is going to have a big correction value because of globe. Whoa. It's still measured in sections. All those sections are taken and then they calculate your R value corrections into that distance after it's measured flat. And they link them together and they put all those averages together to give you your ellipsoidal model. It's like when you take a program on the computer and you're meshing something on Blender. Those nodes of mesh is what's happening. They modeling the globe based on flat horizontals. That's it.
They
do
didn't
not
shrink
much
them
explain how
neither,
to
right?
make this.
They're just
Sorry?
they're the same distance. They didn't
Same
shrink
distances.
it down.
Same distances. They're just meshing
would-
those distances together over a sphere. They can take those same things and stick it over a pyramid Earth if they wanted to. It's all just got to do
I've
with
seen
the
people do-
corrections based on their belief.
I've seen people make a pyramid Earth out of Blender.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Point that Flatzoid tried to argue.
It takes the curvature of the Earth into account, but plane surveying doesn't, because it doesn't need to for that small distance for the accuracy.
Great. So this brings me back to the triangulation. I'm glad you brought in arc of the continental triangulation. And do you know planar surveying works up to 150 square miles? How much curve would you expect in 100 square miles?
I don't know the exact figure, but it's small enough that they can ignore it.
Okay, so if we say, for instance, observation
Accuracy of it
using a
that much.
telescope. Okay, let's say, for instance, we use a telescope looking out at the ocean. Should we then say we shouldn't see curve, both going over the curve then?
So it seems he's trying to argue along the lines of plane surveying inaccuracies being linked to curvature drop.
No, I was bringing a argument because he's saying at those distances would be 10 miles, or in our case was 15 miles, stating that we should ignore it because it'd be very minuscule. That's what he was claiming, correct? Roger,
Yeah.
you got a lot of noise, mate.
Oh, sorry.
So what I said was, fine, let's play around with that game. When we do an observation, let's go out to the beach and we use a telescope or a camera and we look out 10 to 15 miles. Are you claiming we should ignore that curvature? No, because you guys claim curve starts at 3 miles. The horizon should start at 3 miles.
Yep.
So should we just say every time we see an observation with a boat on the ocean and say, okay, sorry guys, it's only 10 miles out, we should ignore your curve? That's just dumb. That's what I was saying. Because you say it's little, you should just ignore it. So then we should ignore it with observation too. Because by the way, Dave McKeegan, when you use a auto level or a theodolite, it is optically measured. You're using a scope. You're measuring things optically. Just like when you use a camera to see boats on the horizon, it's the same thing. It's optical.
Yeah, it has a range on your optics, right? So you have a further visual.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
The
measure
difference
that.
the difference between the theodolite or auto level and a camera, the camera is not set perfectly level to be perpendicular and take a measurement with a measuring rod. With the planar surveying and they're using the auto level or the theodolite, they usually got a measuring rod to take that measuring staff to take that measurement, so they know the distance and if it's high or lower. But even with the measuring staff, it is limited to the distance you can use it. After that, it's just taken. That's why they do it in sections. After it's just taken so you can go and lay it across that horizontal datum. I mean,
It's pretty simple.
yeah, I've been debating this for years. It's not hard to understand. He can even ask main surveyor; he'll tell him exactly the same thing.
So your rod is your reference point to know how far you're looking, basically.
The staff is to tell you how high or lower your measurement is. The ground is when they're doing the planar surveying of ground. But like I said, that's limitations. You can't really go that far out with a measuring rod, because the further you go out, the less accurate it is. Because why? Optical things. Now he's claiming, hey, that means Earth curve. No, but you guys are taking refraction into account, which has terrestrial refraction, which has your 6/10 radius value. You're claiming Earth curve, which is, again, has your radius value. Your bias deduction is you've already made a bias decision by putting your globe into these measurements. By ignoring everything you're seeing is optical.
Yeah. And perspective has a lot to do with that, doesn't it? When you actually,
and this is exactly why we say the globe is just hijacking optical perspective. That's all it is. They're seeing things based on optics, and then they claim it to be physical.
Well, that's FED's housekeeping question, one of the main ones, right?
Mm-hmm. It's one of the first housekeeping questions.
And it's pretty
And
valid.
yeah, and this is one of the first favorite points that's actually got me to start my channel was the hijacking of perspective. That's why I'm a flat earther today, guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Now a lot of your videos to begin with was a lot to do with perspective, wasn't it? Absolutely. Hence, like you said, your name. It was Flatzoid. Well, you were Flatzoid FE to begin with, but best choice you made, making it to perspective, definitely. Yeah.
I.e., the limit for plane surveying is 100 square miles, so 10 miles in a straight line. And curvature drop at 10 miles is about 67 feet.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
And do we observe this?
Not always,
Yeah.
for sure.
And 67 feet is quite a lot of curve, correct?
Absolutely.
So when you're measuring a slope and an incline angle, do you not think 70 feet should be accounted for?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be a long way to build a bridge over or a road. You drop like
70 foot's a decent hill, man. You know what I mean? It's fairly big.
I mean, that's 21.3 meters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's observable. 21 meters is quite a. It's long. Come on. I mean, it's higher than my house. Come on.
Yeah, try falling that far. Yeah, try falling that far. Landing on your feet.
Quite crazy.
Hey, Flash, got a question for you right quick.
Yeah.
What's your goal with the super chats?
So I said we didn't put a
Oh.
goal there. You guys have to make one up. But we've already hit it, so yeah, I'm kind of bored now.
Well, the guys in chat can make up the next one. I made up the last one. The one you've got.
That's a good idea.
The debate one. So yeah.
I'm gonna be doing the debate.
Yeah, that's in their hands, man.
It's in your hands.
Godzilla should do it. He made it most of the super chats, didn't he?
Yeah, Godzilla, you can decide. How's that?
No, because he wants me to do it.
Oh no!
Give me 2 seconds.
Come on, Gordy, you can do it, man.
Mm.
We know it. What is on his avatar? Is that a manatee?
On God's,
Yeah.
it's
Bird?
It's a koala. It's a koala.
Ah, he's got a koala.
Yeah.
Nazis.
Guara.
I think it's a koala. Yeah, koala. Koala. I think, yeah, koala or wallaby or whatever, you know what I mean? Not a wallaby, a koala. Different things, isn't there? It's a koala. It's a koala.
A koala is a bear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird looking bear.
Yeah, it's a grey
It's a
bear
small little
with
bear.
like a
It's a koala.
koala.
It's a koala with a clown hair.
Ah.
They're hanging out with Michael, hadn't he?
Yeah, it's a bird. It's a bird which doesn't eat meat, only freaking leaves and other stuff.
Yeah.
You can lift
it's
this,
neat,
right?
but it's got quite a set of claws on it.
Oh yeah.
But they're usually friendly.
So he thinks plane surveying can then be deemed as accurate with almost 70 feet of objects cut away, which is not the case. Now, if we go back to my example at the start about surveying a plot of land, and we say that the land is exactly 10 miles from end to end, the differences between a plane survey versus a geodetic survey isn't the distance between those 2 points across the surface of the land, because they would measure the same.
You heard that? They would measure the same. You hearing that, Sean Hawkins? So the distance is measured the same.
Rather, the difference in the shortest distance between them. On a circle, this is called the chord length versus going over the surface, which is the arc length. Based on a globe with a radius of...
See? Already setting in a radius.
Based
You
on
haven't
it, yeah.
measured the radius. You're calculating the radius. You measured flat.
Yeah.
Assumptions.
Why they always have to assume their outcome before they do it?
I think they know
Because
what
they
it
have
is
been
before they
programmed
do
this
it.
way,
Because they have
and they
to.
operate on this realm, on the assumptions. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Never assume. Learn the facts. That's the best way.
Yeah. I mean, if you really wanted to prove that you're measuring your sphere, why are you doing a radius? Why don't you just measure the curve? Oh, wait, because there is no curve to measure.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Added in
There is
later.
only assumed curve, which they are adding. That's what it is. It's plain
And
as day.
and their corrections are always based on a already assumed radius value.
Exactly, because they always implement assumptions. They don't base their measurements on facts, on
No,
assumptions,
they have
constants,
to.
and other
They have
shit,
to.
which we don't
Yeah,
need to include. But they have to include it to confirm the globe Earth deception.
they have to.
Well,
So I'm saying they
the
have
thing
to
is
beg.
that
They have to beg the question for them to for them to be able to continue with the narrative. That's all they can do. Is beg the question.
well, look at the sky, right? Think about it, like your perspective of the skies. That's where they add that in, right? The stars and their perceived distances.
Of course.
They calculate that into it to make their curve. That doesn't mean the ground's curving at all, and it's not even the stars that are curving. It's just the way the light looks in your perspective, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the hijacking of perspective. Period.
Yep.
3,959 miles, the difference between the arc length and the chord length across 10 miles is less than 4 millimeters. Yet at 20 miles, the difference is about 4 centimeters.
And then again, making my point. You measure 10 miles at a time, okay? Not you measure 10, you measure 20, you're measuring 10 at a time, so it's always going to stay 4 millimeters according to your globe. But you don't measure a globe, you measure flat plane. So why are you putting 4 millimeters of curve into it if there is no measurement of curve?
That's insane. One question for you: how do you measure perspective? That's what I want to know.
Well,
You can only observe it and then you can try to describe it.
they do their
There's no measurement for it.
they do their orthographic Muppet vision, and
And that's why I appreciated what Life is Short did. Remember when he tried to describe it with diagrams and mathematically and things, which I think he did a very good job.
But yeah, they use orthographic, and like Tune will tell you that's the perspective is considered into orthographic. How?
No.
How? They're two totally different things. One is like actual, and one's apparent.
Exactly. Okay, we got 77 votes. Planar surveying tells the Earth is measured flat. Yes, 65%. No, 31%. Not sure, 4%. Ooh.
Hence, the inaccuracy up to 100 square miles is pretty negligible, but beyond that, it starts becoming more and more significant.
Yeah, but you don't measure that way. Nobody measures in chord length or arcs. You measure planar. You calculate your chord length or you calculate your arc length. Get it?
Yeah.
Not measured. So Dave McKeegan, by omission, is not even realizing he's showing it measured flat and then calculated as a globe, making mine and Whitsett's point. While thinking he's debunking us, he's literally making our point. The globe is not measured. There's no measured curve. It's measured flat. Thank you, Dave McKeegan.
Plus, one thing, the only time you use an arc length is when you're like navigating at sea, when you're going from star to star, right?
Yeah, if you're assuming a curved surface.
Yeah.
Hence the need to then begin accounting for curvature. But depending on what is being surveyed and why, the inaccuracy of plane surveying can be too great even at much shorter distances. As I alluded to earlier, surveying can be used for multiple different types of measurements, given that theodolites can measure angles both horizontally and vertically. And often, surveying is used to plot out the changing elevations of land, such as hills.
Elevation. So elevation angles.
Yeah.
Don't think we need to say again that requires a flat Earth.
With a method called trigonometric heighting, which is pretty basic trigonometry that I've actually demonstrated before in another video, simply with a ruler and a protractor to calculate the height of a plastic bottle. You measure your ground distance from an object and then measure its elevation angle. This essentially gives you two components of a triangle, which is all you need to solve the rest of the triangle, including the height of the object's side.
And I want to ask, remember that a while ago I asked McToon to figure out my flask?
Engineering surveyors.
Yeah, I
remember
remember
that
that.
flask?
Right.
I
That's
still
right.
haven't got an answer.
Still,
Not
that's-
one Glober has given me an answer. That
No.
I've had some attempting to give me an answer, but
Andrew
all of
Johnson,
them have it wrong.
Andrew Johnson attempted it live, didn't he? Or did he do a video?
Zebra tried it. Andrew Johnson tried it.
Yeah.
Many people have tried it, and they got it wrong.
And
The
Andrew
people that
Johnson, Andrew Johnson fell into the trap you thought he would. I think they all did. Not one has got it right. I think it's about a year ago now, Flats. You know.
That's a year and a half ago about.
Oh,
And
yeah.
McToon hasn't even attempted it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Wow.
So,
I
wait.
kind of went out of my head for that. That did for a bit. Wow.
Dave's little demonstration there, if he did it directly in front of you, you'd have to consider your perspective of it. It would look a lot different.
Exactly.
Let me
It
see
would
if I
look
can
higher
bring it up.
in elevation.
Yeah, that'd be good. Because they really
Yeah, but-
thought they get it right as well, didn't they?
Let's see if I can find when it was.
Nobody's gave you a video on a refracted hand neither yet, have they?
No,
Well, he says it's going to be in the next First for Idiots. So we'll see. Just trying to look for it quickly. That one was... there we go. It was 2000, the 11th of the 3rd,
Mike,
2022.
Mike,
Your mic
Really? Why?
Mike's a bit robotic.
Why?
It
Better?
does a bit
is
robotic.
crackling, dude.
Yeah.
It's probably just
Yeah.
there, but better.
No,
Why? You see,
No.
this is cable, guys.
no,
I'm definitely going to need a new
you sound,
cable.
Yeah.
you
Testing.
sound like a Cyberman from Doctor.
1 2 1 2.
How are you doing?
1 2 1 2.
Now you're quiet,
Right.
quiet,
You're gone.
And testing 1 2 1 2. Here we go.
robotic.
I thought it was me. I thought my service was going out. Say something now, Flats. We're getting audio.
Testing 1 2.
Getting audio, but it's try again.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
It's loud and robotic.
Testing
You know?
1 2 1 2. And this is me saying hello.
No,
This is going to be a weird show.
Why is it all of a sudden? It was fine.
Like that.
It was fine.
I don't know.
Here we go.
It just started going like that. It was weird.
Testing. Pizza.
No.
Pizza and pie.
Disconnect it and
Oh,
try to reconnect it.
No, still robotic. No, cool. Silent.
Push the cable close.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
There.
Yeah, that should help.
Completely gone.
Connect. No voice. Connect your cable now.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
His
No
mic was
voice
going out.
I
whatsoever.
think if you restart, I meant you, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
muted.
If you restart,
I was
Oh.
muted.
can you? Oh, you're muted.
How
you
the
were
hell was I
muted.
muted? I didn't mute myself. Yeah.
You sound like you do in Restream that in StreamYard now. A bit low,
And I
like
can't
you're
do
in the
anything
bottom
about
of
it
the
because
barrel.
it shows perfect on my side here. Showing it's reading properly. 1 2. Hello.
it's like you're
Hello.
going.
Hello?
Testing.
Now we got like a feedback a little bit.
You sound like you are in a wardrobe.
Well, I don't know what's going on, guys. It's on restream.
How's Narnia, anyways, since you're in the wardrobe? Go say hi to Mr. Tumnus for us.
I was going to say, Godzilla, thank you very much for the super says new fund mic should be next in goal. It's not the mic though, it's the cable. It's a very good mic. It's the cable that's cheap shit.
How much is how much
I'm going to get a new cable.
how much would
I
the
think like
cables be?
$30 or so. Should get him one.
Sorry?
How much would the
$30
cables
or
be?
so.
You're both talking at the same time, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How much would I know? I'm asking the question, Roger.
I'm trying to answer you.
I know I'm asking Flats though, because he's in a different place, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Right. So, how much would the cables be?
A 1 meter cable, let's see. About 200 rand.
And how much is that in, just say dollars?
Pounds.
Or pounds, same pounds.
In pound.
It's about 15, 20, isn't it? 15, 20?
$9.
Right.
9 pounds.
That's cheap. Yeah, there
9
you go.
pounds. So 10 pounds. You can say 10 pounds.
Right.
That's about it, I think. Okay, you guys ready to go on? Is my sound okay? I'll just hold it like this for now.
It's like you're in the bottom of a barrel.
I don't know why, guys. It was fine, and then I just decided to do this. I really wish I had a reason, another way I could figure out what's going on. Sorry about that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, Dave McKeegan.
Can use this, for example, to work out the heights of buildings. Now, the Surveying for Engineers book that I have actually talks about trigonometric heighting, stating, quote, because the slope length of the line of sight between 2 points may be in the order of kilometres, it is necessary to take into consideration the effects of curvature of Earth and the refraction of light by the atmosphere.
Notice that this is based on what again? Geodetic surveying. Not planar surveying, geodetic surveying.
Man, the distances don't change, do they?
No.
In single-ended trigonometrical heighting, the observations are taken from one end of the line only, and curvature and refraction must be allowed for in the calculations.
Thank you very, very much, PJ, for the PayPal, for the cable. Thank you very much. I will call it, I'll call it the noodle. I'll call it the noodle. Sponsored by PJ.
Nice, nice. No problems, man.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Blessings, man. Yeah, then I can see if I can get it ordered. I'll ask my wife to try and order it for me as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, man. No problem.
You rock.
In reciprocal trigonometric heighting, observations are taken from each end of the line of sight, but not at the same time. Curvature and refraction must again be taken into account.
Again, okay, this is based on geodetic surveying. But also read further down. The accuracy of the heights obtained by single-ended and reciprocal methods depend on a great extent on the value of the coefficient of atmospheric refraction.
Yeah, and they do it in sections, right? And that's how they figure worm their math in each section, right?
Yeah, exactly. Quite insane.
In simultaneous reciprocal trigonometrical heighting, the observations are taken from each end of the line at exactly the same time in order that curvature and refraction effects will cancel each other out in the calculations. Essentially what this means is, if you are measuring the elevation angle of a hill to work out its height, you're going to have to go some distance back from the hill in order to get a clear view at the top of it. But if you're on a globe, then the bottom part of the hill will have begun to drop below your local horizontal, so the hill would then measure low.
Sorry, it doesn't say nothing about local horizontal.
No.
No,
You know what? I
He's making
think
this up.
what could happen is when you had problems and you would disconnect the cable, and the stream itself could affect your voice. I don't know if you want to try to restart the stream. That could help as well. Or you can just test your mic in different program and just record it and play it again to hear if your voice is correct.
He'll be back, I hope. Hey, PJ, that was nice of you, dude.
He's doing the same as what I do. No, same.
Same,
Horrible.
unfortunately.
Sorry, guys, I can't do anything about it. So the show's anyway, it's almost done. So
Yeah. It
sounds like
still
you're doing
a
it
problem.
It
sounds like you're at the bottom of a well. You can still hear it. Yeah. It sounds like you're mono at the bottom of a well.
I have no idea why it will do that. But yes, PJ, you rock.
That's all good. And God as well for chipping in.
See if this works.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
There it is.
What do you do? What do you do?
It changed my setting on Restream again. I just changed
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. It's a shit itself.
So Restream changed my setting. Okay.
You
now
still
we're
need a new
back.
cord, Flats.
Yeah, I do need
I
it
was
because
referring to this happens with the programs. I don't know why, but it happens.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you
thank
got
you very much. Okay.
And here's where
I
they
will just
hijack
hold-
perspective, right?
Yeah. This is the thing. Remember, he said now you go further away so you can see the top of the mountain. But now with the distance, it will seem that the bottom of the mountain is now starting to get obstructed, so it's bending down. This is called perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what we've been trying to say for all the times where we got limiting angles, you got foreshortening, you got perspective, you got diffraction, refraction, everything plays a part. Remember, the further the distance, the more optical effects you have to contend with. They take these optical effects and they call it Earth curve.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
it.
won't have that much optical effects with your naked eye. Naked eye is probably your best observation, right?
Yeah. Quite insane.
Lower than it really is. Hence, you then have to take the curvature into account with your calculations.
I love that it says that. Yeah, it's actually lower than it as really is. So in other words, refraction makes it look lower then.
Aye.
That's weird. So it
To
makes
prove
it look lower.
Earth's globe, you have to take under consideration calculation, which you include in your counting of Earth curvature. That's how you prove it that there is a curvature. It's called circular reasoning.
Mm-hmm. But my point on this is, though, don't they always claim that refraction lifts things up? Now he's claiming that it's making it lower.
Drops it.
I think they're
depends on the
referring
day,
to the
Fletch.
Fata Morgana, like on the hot day, with this heat. Like, for example, you can see Fata Morgana on the desert. That's what they are referring to.
Yeah. Spud says, Flatzoid, have you seen his T-shirt? Whose T-shirt? Dave
You're
McKeegan.
talking about McKeegan.
Yeah, we spoke about it.
Watch.
He's had it for a long time, though.
He has. He has.
And I think he could have done a better design, to be honest. It doesn't really appeal to me.
No, it kind of just reminds me in Flat Earth Dave's app.
I think he's taking a dig at Planet Days app.
No doubt.
Later, guys. Gotta go.
Oh, later, Jeff.
Later, Jeff.
Just blessings, Jeff.
Have a good one.
Cheers, man. Thanks for coming. See you tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
The same basic problem as when flat earthers are asked how high is the sun or the moon based on their elevation angles. It should be very easy to work out with basic trig, but it doesn't work unless you include corrections for earth curvature into the calculation.
Or you would just have to understand that when you look at large distances, like looking at the sun, there is optical phenomena at play. Therefore, the sun is not at exactly the same position where you observe, because it's only an apparent position.
Just like in the horizon too, they're the same in apparent positions. That's not an actual physical place, which it has to be for them because they got curved, right?
Yeah, and we've explained this to McToon as well.
It's not hard to grab.
Even on their globe, this is why I call them hypocrites. Even on their globe, they have different locations for the sun. They have a refracted location and they have an actual location, according to the globe. You never see the actual location. You only see the refracted location. So now, why on a flat Earth are we not allowed to have the same thing?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they put those incredible distances, like 93 million miles to the sun, which you can actually pin down anyways. There's no way in hell you can measure that distance from here.
And it's amazing that he has to make a chord length to do this correction, which still keeps it as a flat baseline.
Exactly. It's still under the little straight line. Same as the ratio. It's a line. Straight line.
It's a plane measurement, dude. It's a planar measurement. It's all it really is with optics.
I said radius. I said ratio for some reason. Radius, I meant. Sorry. Wrong word. Sorry, man. My bad. I meant radius. Ratio.
Calculations, which obviously flat earthers don't want to do. But the point is that when they are surveying elevations, Earth curvature corrections have to be applied at much shorter distances, even though they are well within 100 square miles. Because over 10 miles, the difference in chord length versus arc length is a matter of millimeters, yet the curvature drop from the theodolite level at that distance is 20 meters or
So we should see 20 meters of curve. Do we see 20 meters of curve, guys?
Hell no.
I've never seen it.
Hell no.
That would be a nice drop.
He's literally debunking their own argument. Because their argument is, at planar surveying, the limitation, it's so minuscule, you don't have to take it into account, correct?
Yes, we said.
That's what they're saying.
Exactly.
So now he's saying 20 meters is not taken into account at planar surveying because it is so small.
It's insignificant, of course.
But the problem is he's trying to false equivocate arc and chord length into planar surveying. There is no arc and chord length in planar surveying. You're working on a plane, a horizontal plane.
Yeah, they'd have to throw away the horizontal to go with it. Like it doesn't exist.
So he's trying to mix up planar surveying with geodetic surveying and trying to make excuses why planar surveying should require the curve.
Well, didn't Brian bring it up this way? Like it's a dip correction that you have to do from your height above the surface.
Elevation
correct?
angle.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's simple.
67 feet. So plane surveying can work at those distances for surface measurements, but elevation measurements become incredibly inaccurate. For example, Flatzoid in his debate brings up a diagram from a surveying website and argues that all surface measurements are done over a horizontal plane.
Yes.
Now, this specific diagram that he is showing is a technique in surveying called differential leveling, which is a technique.
Yeah, differential leveling. Same horizontals, right through.
And you zero them out at sea level. So you across the board, you're going straight all the way.
Look, the mean sea level is the datum. But the thing is, it's a horizontal. All those horizontals are parallel to one another.
Technique used to work out elevations across various parts of land. However, when you read up on differential leveling, it does say not to have your sighting positions more than 230 feet apart.
Yeah, you know why that is? Because you need to read the staff. Like I said, you have limitations to read that measuring staff for that rod. The further away you go, the less, the less accurate it is. You have a limitation to the accuracy with the staff. That is why they say you should not exceed that. Not because of Earth curve, because of optical effects. It's an optical instrument you're using. Look there where it says length between foresight and backsight. You know what that means? You have to literally see line of sight.
And you can't
Don't
see
know how hard
forever,
this is
right?
to understand.
You can't see forever with a theodolite neither. You can only see.
Yeah, look what it
so
says
far.
here. It literally says on screen, limits of sight distances. Limits. Sight distances should not exceed 230 feet when more than 2 rod readings, see rod readings below, are rejected in every 10 setups. Reduce the sighting distance. The difference in length between foresights and backsights of a single setup should not exceed 16 feet. In other words, if it goes over the limitations, just make your distance shorter. Those linkages make it shorter. Because sometimes the weather can play a huge role in changing the accuracy of the reading. In other words, it's optical. The ground doesn't physically move up and down.
Yeah. So why don't they make something that's a little more accurate than a theodolite? I'm pretty sure there are optical devices that they could probably make to see further with, right?
Simple answer, because their globe model would fall. They can't go this way.
And this is why I love bringing up the instructioneers when they use water levels. Because the water levels show what's measured. It shows horizontal. But the globies want to change that level horizontal plane to follow a curve. Again, just making a point about it, not actually showing it measured. They're just saying it does so.
Which is only 70 meters. There's a website called Learn CST, which basically teaches people how to become surveyors. They've got modules on everything. They do have a section on how to do differential leveling, but they also have a topic on how to do trigonometric leveling. And trigonometric leveling can be done over much larger distances than the 70-meter limit of difference.
Why? Because trigonometric leveling is not limited to a horizontal line of sight. Line of sight is the key word here. It is more flexible and provides faster elevation data collecting than differential leveling. Why? Because it takes measurements already made and then it uses electronic distance measurements. So it doesn't need line of sight.
Differential leveling. However, in order to do trigonometric leveling, you have to include earth curvature correction.
Yeah, because it's geodetic surveying.
You have to always include curvature.
Yeah, making our point. That's why there's a difference between geodetic surveying and planar surveying. We measure always flat planar surveying. You then calculate your curve with corrections for that beloved curve, geodetics.
But he will still not get it.
No, this whole video he's made is literally just making the point myself and Wits have been saying. I don't know how he thinks this is debunking us when it's literally just validation of our points.
Corrections. Although before I move on, I would like to bring up an interesting little anecdote I stumbled upon in my research. That excerpt from the surveying book mentioned reciprocal trigonometrical heighting, which is where the surveyor takes a measurement from point A to point B and will then go to point B and take a second reading back to point A. They do a similar thing with reciprocal leveling as well. But back in the 1730s, there were disagreements in the US about the ownership of land between Pennsylvania and Maryland. Eventually, an agreement was reached with a new borderline proposed. This led to British surveyor Jeremiah Dixon and astronomer Charles Mason of the Royal Society being commissioned to go and survey this newly agreed 233-mile-long borderline, which they did between 1763 and 1767. Yeah. It became known as the Mason-Dixon line, which separates Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, and Delaware. And part of the method of the surveying that they did, at least at that time, was that after moving forward a few measurement
He's
points, they would
literally
turn
going point to point to point, like we said.
Yep. And if he was over here, they would hang him already. He said Maryland.
Mary.
It's Maryland.
about
Dude.
and take a
Maryland. Yep.
So they are going from
single
point to point to point. So what is his point?
Exactly.
He's going from point to point.
He doesn't have a point. His point is he's trying to say we're wrong while literally making our point for us.
He is totally blunt, you know. Like I said before, joke. What's the difference between feminism and knife? Knife has a point.
Good joke.
I think the issue these guys have is they want to be right so bad. They want us to be wrong, that they don't actually see what they're presenting is a fallacious argument on their part, while they're arguing our point for us and telling we're wrong.
What can you say? Don't interrupt
Delusion.
them. They hang themselves, you know.
Yeah, it's a delusion.
That's why I like Polaris so much, because it's a single point that we go to do all our longitude and latitudes from.
Yep.
It just says it all right there.
But you know what, Flat? Even if you pointed to them that they are making a point for you, for us, they will still not agree with you.
Nope.
We still
They'll
don't
argue
speak.
just to argue.
Yes, I just don't get it. I really don't. How you can be so blunt?
That's why I call them a tit.
Yet again, what was it?
They tits.
Why? I didn't hear the conversation.
They're tenaciously ignoring the truth.
Okay, it's okay, fair enough.
Tenaciously ignoring truth seeking. So in other words, they've already made up their mind. No matter what you present to them, they'll always stick to what they believe.
And they will suck this tit to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
measurement back several points to ensure that the measurements conformed with what they were expecting from the combination of the previous few measurements.
Yeah.
Essentially like a form of quality control check. Now, some degree of variation is
Yeah, that's why they have foresight and boresight. Exactly that. Yeah. Okay.
always expected. That's why you have margins of error. But typically, such errors will be random. However, what Mason and Dixon were finding was that they were getting consistent errors, i.e., the errors were consistently wrong in the same direction.
What does that tell you? Same distances, consistent errors.
Weird, huh?
Maybe it's optical? Ever thought of that?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe things like optical perspective is a thing? Just a thought.
Nah.
Surely not.
And this was back when levelling the theodolites was done with a plumb bob. Now, Mason and Dixon were sent to do this survey by the Royal Society, and they were relaying this information of consistent errors back to them. And another notable member of the Royal Society at that time was Henry Cavendish. And Cavendish proposed that this error was actually being caused by the Allegheny Mountains, which are located at the western end of the Mason-Dixon line. Cavendish...
You see what they do, guys? See, this is what I say. This is how the globe works. They have a god of the gaps argument. As soon as they find an issue, they need to figure out why there's an issue, and they make up a story to explain that issue.
Yeah.
So, not instead, oh, maybe my model's wrong. Let's just maybe wangle in another explanation on why it can still work. That's called God of the gaps argument, guys.
Well, Cavendish has never made up anything in his lifetime. Henry was a good guy.
Yeah.
proposed that the large mass of the mountain range was creating a gravitational pull on the plumb bob, which was causing a slight deflection towards the west. This even led to the Schehallien experiment being conducted in 1774, using the gravitational deflection of a plumb bob to calculate the density of the Schiehallion mountain in.
Wow. Wow.
We've been.
I'm being
through
pulled to
this
Everest
before.
right now.
Yeah, we've been through this before. I'm sure Bernoulli's principle is a thing.
I'm sure it might be.
Yeah.
Sure it might
So
be.
when they stick a large ball next to a mountain, which has a lot of air current, by the way, what happens when that air passes through on the side of the mountain with a ball next to it? I don't know, maybe a low
Pressure.
pressure system?
You don't see it.
No way.
You don't see it, man. Come on. Surely not. So,
Scotland.
Ooh.
Get up to 43%
Oh,
off
it's almost
your
Black Friday.
starting at just $6.99.
Yeah, I got to work that day. It's gonna suck, dude.
Yeah, but I was thinking you would have to.
mm,
Because that's going to be a busy day for you.
Oh yeah.
Very
I get
busy
time
day.
and a half for it though. It's gonna be worth it.
Okay. As long as you get paid, Wood.
I just thought that was amusing reading as another factor against flat Earth.
It's not a factor. It's been discussed and debunked many times years ago. Why don't these guys have anything new to present? That's also a question I always have.
it's debatable. It's really debatable.
Yeah.
But I would say it's actually not debatable. No, it's not debatable at all. It's like the answer's
Yeah, but
no.
I mean, but the thing is, they keep bringing things up that has been discussed and debunked years ago. You know, they keep recycling the same stuff over and over. Dust and Bones, what is optical perspective? Simple, just as it describes. It's all the optical phenomena we see observed in reality. It's just the name we give to everything put together. So diffraction, perspective, refraction, foreshortening, limited angles, you name it, it all puts together, and that's what we call optical perspective. Because we are seeing a three-dimensional thing being transferred into two dimensions. There we go.
Anyway, back to where we were. Austin, within his long response, claimed that all construction projects like bridges and runways all use plane surveying.
Yeah.
Again, in reality, the way we build runways, railways, bridges, everything, we have to make flat Earth measurements completely neglect the notion of a curvature. It's not accounted for anywhere, or we couldn't build buildings.
And a little bit of digging shows that the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, that regulates all civil aviation in the US, has the National Geodetic Survey Department do the surveys for all their airports. And I also found this.
So geodetics then, not planar. Whitsit was specifically talking about planar.
It still doesn't change anything at all, whether it's them or us.
No.
Same distances,
Doesn't.
same measurements.
And the airport itself, the building, there's no curve taken into account. The runways, they have slope angles because they need water, rainwater and stuff to flow off. This is a given. Okay?
But the tarmac's level, if I'm not mistaken. It has to be.
Yeah, the tarmac is level, but when it's the runway, they have to have it with the slope so the water can go off. Yeah.
They use a water level probably when they level that surface off too.
Okay.
Yeah.
This document from the Civil Aviation Authority entitled Aerodrome Survey Information, which mentions that the most stringent survey accuracy is required and that the survey
Appropriate survey methods shall be applied to qualify the accuracy and integrity of data provided. Survey methodology shall be clearly demonstrated in the survey report. Requirements are stated by the doc, blah, 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 and the most stringent survey accuracy shall apply to the aerodrome classification and present, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's putting it aerodrome facilities, aerodrome control network, obstacles, and fall and off aerodrome facilities. Horizontal accuracy, vertical accuracy, integrity, classification. So it's got a horizontal accuracy again. Now
So that
notice.
The axiom is the horizontal.
Notice the asterisk there. accuracy with respect to the appropriate geodetic reference frame. That reference frame they're talking about is the WGS84 ellipsoid. Okay? Based off of a what? Horizontal accuracy again.
A horizontal ellipsoid. It's a flat ellipsoid.
All those horizontals placed together to make an ellipsoid. Remember the linkages we were talking about? Mm-hmm. There we go, Dave.
Requirements are outlined by the WGS84 manual. WGS is the world's geodetic system. And under the section for the survey procedures, vertical controls state that ellipsoid elevations are required. So
yeah, because it's geodetic surveying. Geodetics take the ellipsoid into consideration, so that is required.
The question is, where do they get the verticals from?
It's like saying to a military personnel, yeah, let's take you to war, but we're not going to give you any ammunition. I think ammunition is required if you got a rifle, but they're going to tell you, I'm not going to give you ammunition.
Exactly.
Ammunition is required because they require it to shoot the rifle. Just like geodetic surveying requires the ellipsoidal considerations, because that's what geodetic surveying is about. Now, does that mean it's curved? No, it doesn't. It's, again, measured flat, calculated curve.
It seems Earth curvature is actually applied to the surveys of airports. And the thing is, with modern surveying equipment...
No, airports take slope angles. They call it curve, but it's a slope angle. Again, because they need the water to run off the runways. It's for safety issues, dude. Not for earth curve. Remember, they do leveling. So in other words, they level out everything. But the runways, they need to have some slope angles. Just like when they build, for instance, a stadium, they have a bit of slope for the water to drain off. It's not a curved stadium floor. It's based on the horizontal. They just put slope angles into it. Doesn't make the earth curve.
They make a flat surface and put a slope on it. They take a flat surface and put it on purpose just to get water runoff. That's all construction for the most part. If you don't, you're going to have a lot of problems in the long run.
Yep.
You'll have no drainage, so water's going to build up and form pools and rot stuff away. That's the way
exactly.
it is.
Now, a lot of the time, these corrections are actually automatically applied when they're taking the measurements. Typically, in the old days, or with lower budget projects these days, you'd use a theodolite for measuring the angle, but you then need a separate way of measuring the distance between the points that you're measuring. So you then have to manually correct for the curvature based on how far away you'd measured the points to be. But nowadays, you can buy tools called total stations, which are kind of like theodolite.
Which is just automates everything, yeah.
Does your calculations for you.
I mean, you do know you can even put LiDAR on your phone, and you can do kind of LiDAR imaging on your phone, which is quite cool.
It is.
Yeah.
But they have a built-in laser measurer. So the unit can not only work out the angle from level that the marker is.
Angle from level. Notice, angle from level. Exactly, Dave. It's angle from level. Notice he's walking on an uneven surface. Not a curved earth surface, an uneven surface. That is what they're doing. They're mapping out the distance based on the point of reference where the level is sitting.
But the laser allows it to calculate the distance away as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look into the documentation of some of these total stations, they automatically apply the corrections for earth curvature and standard refraction based on how far away the marker is from the station.
Okay. How much Earth curvature will take into account if the guy that you just showed goes 5 meters away? What Earth curve is going to be presented there, guys?
None.
None at all.
Exactly.
And if you go 5 meters away from that other and level it there, you will account for none.
I wonder on how long distance it works. Because if it's like kilometers and kilometers, let's send him freaking 20 kilometers. So how they would be able to get the measurements if they supposedly be behind the curvature? Because they wouldn't see the laser and it wouldn't work. So how it would work? That's the question. It would still work because there is no curve.
But also read what's going on now. It's got a horizontal distance. It's got a height difference. Okay, it's using sin and cos, so it's using trigonomic functions. Okay.
Yeah, I was there in primary school.
Yeah, then it goes and does what we said. It calculates the radius value, calculates R. Okay. Calculates everything into the already flat measured system. It's measured flat, and then it calculates the radius in.
It's like the cherry on top of the sundae. They add it in. Like, you don't need it, but you get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Still remember this crap. Sinus, cosinus, tangens, cotangens. Jesus. That was knowledge for nothing, but I still remember this stuff.
But remember, we explained earlier with this piece of paper, the distance flat measured is going to be the same distance over a curve. It's the same distance measured. It's not going to make a difference.
I should become a surveyor. I make more money.
Well,
Which then kind of presents a problem for all of the people who repeatedly...
Wait, I just want to see something. It does say it. The instrument calculates slope distance. See there? Horizontal distance and height difference.
That would be a rise, right? Rise over run. It's basically, you have a
Yeah, and then it says in accordance with the following formula. Sorry?
That they curve it like that. Rise over run, they make a curve.
But look what it also says here. Okay. The calculated horizontal distance relates to the station's height, not the reflector's height. So in other words, if the reflector is sitting in a divot, it's going to automatically assume it's gone sloped through a curve.
Yeah.
Because it's
and above it on a hill. Yeah.
Remember, it's an uneven surface.
On the station, which then kind of presents a problem for all of the people who repeatedly claim that the Earth is measured flat. And just in case any flat earthers might then be thinking that the documentation is a lie, that it just says it's automatically applying curvature corrections, but it's really not, there should be a pretty easy way to check.
No, nobody's saying that. It does calculate it, but it measures it flat and then calculates it. By the way, like I said, that 5 meters away is going to be such a small amount of calculation. It's not going to change the distance measurement. It stays the same.
Right.
It keeps the same slope angle. I mean, doesn't he know the distance, the limitations on an auto level as well? Total stations. They also have limitations, just like the theodolites have limitations to them. Everything has limitations, guys, and I think that's things that globers don't seem to want to understand. Everything has limitations.
Yeah, so if we didn't have topography, we wouldn't have to even worry about this kind of stuff. We could just have a straight shot when doing surveying.
Yep.
Get hold of a total station that says it automatically corrects for curvature, and then get a measurement tool that doesn't, and take some long distance readings with them side by side. If they produce consistently different results, then the corrections are being automatically applied.
Okay, but I'm not saying they are false. So anyway, he's finished.
Wow.
So thank you, Dave McKeegan, for actually just making mine wits at point without realizing you have. Yeah. Measured flat, calculated curve.
That's exactly what he just demonstrated again, as he usually does, as they all do. So
yeah.
decent.
At least, yeah, we went on a bit longer tonight. Nice.
So good.
Do you have any closing statements?
Just kind of what I said there. Same old, isn't it? Whenever they open the mouth, really, they're either begging the question for their own model or proving flat Earth. It's just the same every single time. Just some are better at doing it than others. You know what I mean? That's it. And triangles is better than most at proving flat Earth.
To make to make a globe works, they have to bend their mind to the to the curvature of the Earth. That's what it is. They are bending everything.
Absolutely, benders.
They are benders, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Dave's ever been out and done surveying personally. If he actually would, he could probably put it all together. But yeah, I see how they calculate what they call Earth curve into it and make perspective.
Do you remember?
Obsolete.
Do you remember AJ's 3.5 kilometers of what was it? He was trying to prove curve, and all he did was prove flat line. 300 odd kilometers of flat baselines.
Mm-hmm.
They do the survey, wouldn't it? They do the survey.
Sorry, they get proper data, but they operate in the realm of assumption. They have to add it, and then it falsifies everything. But according to their own perception, it works. But it's not real data, not proper data, because they are adding a lot of things to the equations to make it work. Which is plain and stupid.
Bing.
Oh, yeah, that's my text. It's
Yeah.
actually Vlad. He's putting stuff on his anti-catherianism mechanism on my phone all day long, dude. I should turn my alerts off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats, all the likes. Share the show, please. We could definitely do with a lot more likes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to get nearly 100% likes. Well, Flats used to get 100% likes, man. What's going on?
Yeah. So I'll definitely stick this up on Rumble. I'm gonna also premiere it on my backup channel because I couldn't get it to work today for some reason. Appreciate everybody. Thank you again, PJ. As soon as the money's in, I will get myself a cable.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much.
That's from me, Vicky, and obviously God. He chipped in.
Thank you very much. You rock. Appreciate all of you. And so I'll see you guys all tomorrow night because I'm going to be debating Kent Reynolds.
Nice. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I think it'll be productive. After what I witnessed him and Solve, I think it'll be excellent.
Flat. Wipe the flat Earth with him. Wipe him out.
But yeah, I think it's going to be good. I will have an after show then, depending how long we go on. But I don't think we'll go on too long. And then, then I'll open the panel.
Cool.
Be exciting. And then Saturday morning, it's going to be myself and Luke again. We've got a nice, exciting video to go through.
Yeah.
So that's going to be quite good.
Talking of which, I need to get.
And then next Friday, I'll be talking with Will Duffy on Modern Day Debates about this final dichotomy, final false dichotomy.
PJ and Flat, did you go through email fully or not yet?
Sorry?
Did you go fully through the email or not yet? Did you have time?
I haven't gone fully through it. There's just so much. But there is 1 or 2 points I think we can actually discuss.
Okay.
It's just difficult. Like last time, kept getting flagged for stuff.
All right. Which one? Just.
I'll message you specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you guys going to do your debate at?
Yeah, right here on yeah.
Nice.
So it'll be the Reynolds versus the Reynolds. I know we're not related.
And we'll call it a Reynolds rap.
Yeah.
He's Rhino. You're Reynolds.
So yeah.
What was
so
it?
I
What
said-
was the last one? What was the last one you did with Luke? Was it part 4? Was it the show? Did you put part 4 to it, or just Catholic Church Exposed about the
Let
Catholic
me
Church?
just quickly see.
Is it the one from 1
I
month
have
ago?
plenty of videos on my channel related to Catholicism.
No,
and
no, no.
Catholic
It's
Church.
because I do this. It's because I'm doing
Uh,
Flatz's series on a Tuesday. It's just so I need to know which one.
It was 12 days ago. Discovering the secret Catholic
Oh.
mistake you're making.
Was that? And what was that? Number 4. Yeah, that was number 4, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think you already did this.
I did number 3. I did number 3. I did
Okay,
that.
then
on
this
my-
is number
on my,
4. Let me put the.
I did that on my new channel, and then Luke made a suggestion to go back to the start because I started from the 3rd one, and I've done the first 2 now, so now I need to do number 4. So number 4 was the last one you done, wasn't it?
PJ, how do you do number 3 and 4? I only do number 2 and 1.
Sorry? because I only decided to start doing it when they were on number 3, and that was my first ever upload to my new channel when I lost this channel.
You missed the joke,
No, you
PJ.
don't understand what the joke. We'll do a 1 and 2 in the toilet. I do the 3 and 4.
Oh, right, got it.
It's okay, dude. Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, guys, thanks for coming. Appreciate you all. Please hit the likes, share the show. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate you guys very, very much. I'll see you all tomorrow, and make sure to pop into PJ's tomorrow and to Roger. You're probably gonna have a stream as well just now.
Maybe I got to get a hold of Ryan. So he's busy with Turkey
I
Day.
will be in my PJs as well.
So yeah, cheers, guys. Many, many blessings, and may the press with you. Bye bye.
Good night, everyone. Thanks.
Crafted signs of the divine. I'm made for something true. In God's plan, my path renews. Flat earth made by Him. My journey